Hello everyone, welcome to NICU and After, a channel where I talk about life during and after the NICU. Today's story is my favorite story to tell. It's how I went into labor at 22 weeks. And I want to make a disclaimer. I did not deliver my daughter at 22 weeks. I had her at 24 weeks, but I did go into labor at 22 weeks. So if you want to listen to my miracle story about my wonderful daughter, please stay tuned and watch until the end. So we'll get back into it. So I had these cramps literally the whole entire day, the moment I woke up and so well into the evening. I even left out and went to like a tea making class with my mom and my sister that whole entire day. And I just remember something in me just told me like, hey, this may not be normal. You may need to go to the hospital once you leave this class. Because I still was having these cramps, and this is like well into the evening. This is like 6, 7 o'clock, and I'm still like feeling like. So I remember telling my mom and my sisters after the tea making class, like, hey guys, I don't really want to worry anybody, but I'm still having these crampings and something just don't feel right. I think I should go to the hospital just to get everything checked out. My mom, my sisters agreed, my husband agreed. So we went to the hospital. That's literally maybe about 5 to 7 minutes from our house. I was able to get back to see the nurse and the doctor really quickly. And I think that's because I was pregnant, so I was considered a high priority. So when I went back there, I looked at the nurse and I saw like a look of concern on her face. She didn't say anything to me at that moment, but you can tell that something wasn't right. So she walks out of the room. She comes back in with the doctor, and they both say, you are having contractions. And not only was I having contractions, I also was 6 centimeters dilated. Okay. So at that moment, I'm like panicking. I start to cry. I called my mom and my sister on FaceTime because they weren't able to come in the back with me when I was getting admitted and getting checked out for the first time. And my husband wasn't back there either because he was busy parking the car and trying to get himself situated. So I just remember just crying and being really sad at the moment because they still had this look of panic and they weren't really telling me much what they wanted to do, what the plan was. So I'm calling everybody and I'm just panicking, and everyone's like, calm down, don't worry about it, let's pray about it. So after a few minutes of me crying, I stopped and I was like, what is the plan? Okay, so after I was told that I was 6 centimeters dilated, I was then admitted to the labor and delivery unit. Um, a lot of things were a blur for me. I really don't remember much in that moment because I just remember just really being shocked about what was going on and really just in disbelief. I did not want to believe that I actually was going into labor. Now, I do remember getting a talk that, hey, 22 weeks is really early. They went over like the percentage chances of delivering a baby at 22 weeks. So obviously the goal was to try to keep my daughter and me as long as possible. So after getting admitted, they did give me medication to kind of stop the contractions, and they were able to stop it for a while. But they knew the medication wasn't going to be like the long lasting effect, that they had to actually do something different. So the medication was able to stop the contractions at that moment, but they wanted to come up with more of a permanent solution. And that solution was for me to get what they call the cerclage surgery, which really was just tying up my cervix and to buy me a little bit more time. Now, it was very risky because, like I said, I was 22 weeks, and most doctors don't do the cerclage surgery, I think, past 15 to 17 weeks. So, it was really risky for me to do that surgery, but that really was like my only option because if I delivered my baby at 22 weeks, the chances of her surviving was low. I would say even at a 50% chance. The cervical surgery really was my only option to kind of prolong me giving birth. So I think I was scheduled for the cervical surgery. I think I went into the hospital like on a Friday, and the doctor was who typically does that type of surgery wasn't going to be in because it was a weekend. So I think I made a half a cervical surgery maybe about 2 to 3 days after I was admitted into the hospital. And the cervical surgery literally saved her life. And I just remember when I had the surgery, the doctor was like in shocked himself because he said when I was on the table and they were actually doing the surgery, he said he saw the baby's head and he had to literally push her back up inside of me. He said he never experienced anything like that He actually had to step out after the surgery to take a moment to himself because he said that was just, it was a lot for him. And you can just imagine just, your hands literally pushing up a baby to stay in someone a little bit longer. So after the surgery, I lasted in the hospital for a few more days and then they discharged me but put me on strict bed rest. And I probably was only home for about 2 days before I started to have contractions again. And then I was admitted to the hospital. The doctor then checked my cervix, and I think that's when he actually broke my water. And I went into active labor. There was nothing else they could do. They said this baby was basically coming. And at that moment, I was 24 weeks. And my daughter was delivered at 24 weeks and 6 days, and she was born with 1 pound. She was born at 1 pound and 9 ounces. She's definitely my miracle baby. So I'm telling you the story because I have so many other NICU stories that I would love to share to help other moms out there and just to kind of show life after the NICU because it has been very different, especially the first year home has been very different, anything we can ever imagine. So I'm sharing my story because I know that this wasn't something that wasn't available for me when I was going through my journey. And I remember just looking for somebody to hear their stories, someone I can relate to. So I really hope my story helps other mothers out there to, one, not ignore their body. If something doesn't feel right, I don't care what stage in pregnancy you're in. If it don't feel right and you feel uncomfortable, go to the hospital, okay? Don't ignore any symptoms that you are having. And two, I didn't have anyone like me when I was going through my journey. I tried to Google, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, all types of social media. I tried to find someone that I can relate to, and I couldn't find many stories. So that's another reason why I wanted to create this page, because I know there are other mothers out there that are going through something similar, and I really just wanted to bring awareness to NICU life and having a premature baby and what life looks like after that, and that bringing your child home from the NICU really is just the beginning of a new journey. It's not the end. You bring your child home from the NICU, it doesn't mean that, oh, everything's normal, we're fine, she's a normal baby now. No, there's a lot of things that still happen after the NICU. Like, my daughter came home on oxygen. She was on oxygen for several months after being home from the NICU. My daughter will be 2 in a few weeks, and we still are doing different therapy sessions. We do feeding therapy, speech, PT, you name it, she still has to have it. So life after the NICU is where the journey really begins, and I'm just glad that I'm finally be able to share this channel with other moms out there to help them navigate this part of their life.